Welcome to Where There's Wheels, There's a Play. My name's Dean, and I'm here with another solo initial impressions, this time for The Royal Limited by Button Shy Games, brought to us by Scott Allens. Plays one player in about 20 minutes. Let's read about The Royal Limited. England, 1960s. The revolution in music, fashion, art, and more draws celebrities from around the world. Superstars wind their way across the country using the ultimate in luxury travel, the train line catering to the elite, while less fortunate passengers jostle for the space to get a glimpse of their idols. There's no time to waste, so grab the bags and get on board. So the theme of this game, elite, the elite of the elite traveling in a train and others trying to get on train. I think it comes through okay. As you'll see when we get to the table, you have some specific cards that are VIPs. You also have some just train cards that can be used as passengers or trains. So it comes through. I don't think it's a extremely strong theme, in my personal opinion, compared to some other ones. But I think the theme does come through. So you have your VIPs and stuff. So I think it's a decent theme. Well, it's button shy. So your components are 18 cards. You've got 5 two-sided VIP cards. You've got 12 train cards, which are used as trains and passengers. And you have your train conductor, train departed card. Two-sided, both sides are the same. That's it. The artwork in this one. The artwork in this one is pretty minimal. You have your train station worker on that art. Then you have your train cards, which are all the same. So you have these train cards. They're all the same. And then the real artwork comes in the VIPs. So you've got some VIPs here that are two-sided VIP cards. Each one of them has their own little requirement for where you place them. Little backstory about each one. So that's where the art really comes in. I think they're VIPs. They look very upscale. They look very much like they would be VIPs in the 1960s. So, yeah. So there's your artwork. I do like the VIP cards. They do look very fancy. They've each got their own little thing about them. So I like it. The setup for this game is pretty simple. You place your train conductor. You're going to have a row here where you're going to be playing and building your train cards. These I'm going to put up here for now. You choose 2 VIPs. You place them down here. You got L. Davis and J. Hull. You take 5 cards in your hand and lay them out, and there is the setup of the game. Let's see. I might be getting a little big here. Let's set the VIPs up here in between the they're passengers, but I don't seem to have enough space. So let's see here. Slide these up. Slide these over here. These are extra passengers. All right, so you have your VIPs over here. All right, and there's your setup. You're going to then have a discard pile next to your draw pile, and that's the setup. So in the Royal Limited, over 4 rounds, each round is tracked by moving this when you can no longer make any more moves. You are going to be building out your train, putting passengers on it to trigger abilities, and putting your VIPs on. So on your turn, you are going to place a train card out here, and the number on it is how many cards you must discard into your discard pile on that turn. So if I were to play any of these ones, I would have to discard 1 card. If I were to play the 0, I wouldn't have to discard any. Once I play 1 card, then I can play another card, but there are some rules for that. in order to play another card, it must be a different number and a different color. So I could not play this blue 1 because I can't have 2 blue cards. I cannot play this red 0 because I cannot have 2 zeros next to each other. So these are the only 2 cards I could play. The other thing you're going to be doing, so I could play this yellow 1 and I could discard something. I could play this red 0 and I wouldn't have to discard. So the other thing you're going to be doing is placing these VIPs and passengers into your train. This must match either the color or the number. So this blue 1 could go in this train or this train. And then each one of these has an ability. So this one says place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Return the top of the discard pile to your hand. So if I wanted to get this discard pile back, which I wouldn't be able to play because I would have to discard a card for it, I could play this here. That doesn't seem like a very good move to do right now, because this is pointless and this might come in handy later. So I'm gonna play this here. That's the end of my round. I don't have any more cards to play, or if you choose not to play, you end your round. Now this is place a card from your hand in the bottom of the deck. I can't do that. If you ever place a passenger and cannot fulfill the next rule, so some of these say next, do this. Some of these just are do this. Some of these say next, place a passenger in a car such that the two cards have a total value of 3. So some of those, if you can't fulfill those, then your round is over. You flip the card like this to show that it is now, this is 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you draw 5 new cards. If you ever have if you ever don't have enough cards here, you just shuffle the discard deck and make a new deck. For the VIPs have some very specific things that they need. So L. Davis needs to go in a yellow card. But the train must have at least 3 cards and place in the lowest valued unoccupied car. So this train right now has 3 cars. I have a yellow, but the number 1 is not the lowest value. So I could not place them here. I would have to have a card in this red one before I could place L. Davis here. J. Howell is wild, which means he can go in any color, which is nice. And you have to place between 2 passengers whose total value is 3. So if I could get a 2 passenger here, a 2 red here, I could place J. Hull here, which would be kind of nice. The goal of the game is to get 7 cards, and I'm just going to randomly just throw stuff out here, guys. I'm not going to, this obviously is not set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see here. Let's go with that. And then let's see if I can quickly place these somewhere. Let's just say at some point I put him in there. Let's see if this is going to work. This may not work. I can put a 3 there. Okay, the J. Hull is not in a proper spot, but I'm just going to show you. In the end, your goal is to have 7 train cards with 7 guests in them, 7 passengers in them, and you score 1 point for each. So for each car that is not filled. So unused cards in the deck and discard pile, unoccupied cards in the train, and VIPs dealt at the start of the train all earn you points. You count all that up. So anything that you haven't fulfilled, you count up and you get a score. The replayability in this one. The replayability in this one, I think, comes mainly because these cards are coming out in different orders. You might use your abilities differently. The cards you use as passengers versus the ones that you use as train cards is different. And the fact that you have 10 different VIPs that have different requirements has some replayability. As far as overall replayability, for just the base game, which is all I have, yeah, I'd say it's a fair amount. I don't think it's an extreme amount. There's some other button shy games which I think, personally for me, are a little more replayable. But there's enough replayability here just because of the cards coming out in different ways and these VIPs. And these VIPs, you know, you're only getting 2 of the 10 each game. So I think there's a decent amount of replayability in this. All right, final thoughts. I'm not sure what I think about this one yet. Honestly, I really don't know. I don't have a good strategy for it. I've only played it a couple times. I keep on forgetting that I can place passengers in cars that have the same number, not just the color. And I don't know if this one works for me or not. This one, still not sure on this one. I liked it. I like it. It's definitely not going to be near the. It's not going to be at the bottom of my button shy list. But I'm not really sure on this one yet. I like the puzzle. I just can't figure out the puzzle. I did complete the train on my second game. The first one I couldn't complete it. So I don't know about this one. I'm really not sure on this one yet. I think it's gonna be one that is gonna be one that I keep. I do like games where I've got to kind of that puzzle of, okay, what can I place? Which abilities do I want to use? Which numbers do I want to use? When can I discard? I think that's the other thing is I try not to discard stuff early, but sometimes these higher numbered train cards have some pretty good abilities on them, so it can help you. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm really not sure on this one. I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I'm not sure where it's going to rank in my list when I rank my collection of button shy games, but I do enjoy it. It will get to the table. Maybe not as much as some of the other ones, but it will get to the table. So there you have it. Once again, this has been Where There's Wheels, There's a Play. My name's Ian, and I'll see you next time at the table.